Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda and thank you for joining me today to talk about one of the most underrated bags on the market, the MULBERRY Bayswater Satchel. So as per usual, I'm breaking up my review in 5 sections. An overview of the bag, wearability, what fits inside, how I bought the bag, pros and cons, then I'll round all of that up at the end to let you know who I would recommend this bag to. So starting off with the overview of the MULBERRY Bayswater Satchel. Obviously I have mine in this chocolate brown color. It has the aged gold hardware, it has 2 top handles, it has a crossbody strap as well. It has this little lock holder on the front. Obviously it has the classic MULBERRY turn lock feature. I actually still have the plastic on mine even though I've had this one for a long time. Inside the bag is basically just one big compartment. You have a little zippered compartment as well back here where you can fit basically your phone or your valuables. On the inside it's this untreated leather as well. I think you can see it quite well on the camera. So this is one of the bags that if you spill something in it, it's not going to be easy to clean because of the untreated leather on the inside. Underneath the bag we don't have a lot going on. It's simply just leather and no feet on the bag. On the back of the bag, not much going on either. So with the overview out of the way, let's get into the wearability of the bag. I find this handbag very wearable. I think the look of the MULBERRY Bayswater Satchel is very low-key in comparison to many other designer bags, which in turn is what I think makes it wearable because it doesn't really make a statement, but it complements most outfits in a very kind of classic and timeless way. I mean, especially mine I think is wearable because of the color. I wear a lot of neutral colors and the color scheme of navy, black, beige, white, green I guess I'm wearing today as well. Essentially in my color scheme this bag fits in perfectly. I find this bag very comfortable to carry as well. The crossbody strap is adjustable, so depending on your height you can pick and choose which length you adjust it to. And also I think this bag does very well on being carried top handle. Like I said, I think this bag does not take up that much real estate on your outfit. It has a timeless chic look to it. To be honest, this is one of the bags that only gets better with time. When I initially got this bag, the leather was quite stiff.
But with the years, honestly, the leather just gets better. That kind of rhymes and that's kind of lame.
But I mean, honestly, over time, the leather just gets softer. It gets this more kind of worn in and more personalized look, in my opinion. I think this bag kind of gives off that upper class mom on the way to pick up your kids at theater practice. And I mean, I'm not opposed to that vibe, to be honest. I'm not a mom and I don't have any kids in theater practice, but I still appreciate the classicness and the timelessness of that type of aesthetic. So all in all, I find this a very wearable bag. I think it's a very practical one as well with a crossbody strap, and like I said, it's very comfortable to carry as well. So on the wearability scale, I give it a 10 out of 10.
Alright, so the battery died, but now we're back.
Now that we've completed the wearability topic, let's see what fits inside the bag. So I mean, like I told you, I'm not a mom. I don't have kids in theater practice, but I mean, I still need some stuff to carry around with me, right? So let's see what fits inside the bag. So since this bag basically has no compartment apart from that smaller zippered pocket, I would probably try to fit my smaller essentials in that pocket, which otherwise would kind of get lost in translation of that one huge compartment that is this handbag. So in the small zippered pocket, I would want to fit my Louis Vuitton key holder, which I also have my cards in. You would know that if you saw my most used designer items of 2021. Shameless plug. Regardless, I'm slotting that right into the smaller pocket. I would probably also want to have my car key and my headphones in there, or at least my car key, maybe not my headphones. That's a bit... So let's save the headphones for later. Since this is a UK-based brand, I thought it would be appropriate to try to fit an umbrella. I mean, this is kind of a regular sized umbrella and that fits perfectly. Also, I mean, this is winter and we're now in Sweden and it's cold. So on a day out on the town, I would preferably have a sweater with me just in case I get cold. So the sweater fits in there perfectly. Also want to bring my headphones, putting them in right there on the sides. And then I would want to bring my 2 phones. I have one iPhone 13 Pro and one iPhone 11 Pro. So they fit in there perfectly as well. On a day out on the town, I would probably not bring much more apart from maybe a pair of sunglasses, but bringing both sunglasses and an umbrella kind of feels redundant, but okay, here we are. Those items fit perfectly. Obviously, it gets quite heavy, especially with, I mean, 2 mobile phones. Who actually need 2 mobile phones? That's a good question. And with the umbrella as well, that adds some weight to it. If we wouldn't need a sweater, then, I mean, you could obviously fit some other stuff, right? So, I mean, then we could add a notebook in there. Fits perfectly. We still have the umbrella, the phone, the wallet, and the car key. We could also add a camera because, I mean, we're YouTubers, right? So we might need a camera for something. Sometimes I also like to bring my Louis Vuitton organizer because I take notes in here. I have my passport in here as well, so I usually take this for travel. That obviously fits perfectly as well, and then I would still bring my sunnies because, you know, an umbrella and sunglasses is apparently a vibe. And that all fits perfectly as well. Obviously still quite heavy, but I mean, this shoulder strap is quite substantial, so I don't really worry about packing this baby full. So yeah, that's what fits inside. So moving on to how I bought this bag. If you saw my video about my most used handbags of 2021, you would know that I actually got this bag as a Christmas gift from my parents. We were in New York, we walked into the Soho store, they let me pick out a bag very kindly, and I picked this one, and I mean, like I said in that video, I've loved it ever since. So that was back in 2013. I've had this bag for almost 10 years and it's still going strong. Now, if I'm being honest, if I was to buy this bag today, I would probably not buy it new from the store because Mulberry bags don't really hold their value that well. So in my opinion, Mulberry bags are not really investment bags. But what that also entails is that on the secondhand market, there are deals to be made, right? I think if you're in the market of buying a Mulberry bag, perhaps check the secondhand market. Obviously, check the sites that you trust and that you know you're gonna get an authentic bag. For example, Vestiaire Collective is somewhere where I usually check. And to be honest, I think the price of Mulberry bags on such sites are pretty low in comparison to the actual quality of the bag. I think Mulberry makes great bags. I think their craftsmanship honestly is unmatched. The leather is of gorgeous quality, the stitching is perfect, and I mean the hardware, especially the aged gold ones, I mean they're not really gonna age. They've already aged. It says it in the name, right? And like I've said, I've had my bag for almost 10 years now and it obviously still looks great. I mean, it's still in perfect condition. So if you're in the market for a Mulberry bag and you don't mind buying pre-loved bags, I would definitely recommend you to check the pre-loved market. So for the pros and cons of this bag. And as per usual, let's get the cons out of the way first so that we can cleanse that negative energy later. But sticking with that topic of Mulberry handbags not really holding their value, I think that honestly is kind of a con. I wouldn't consider Mulberry handbags investment pieces. Obviously, they're great quality bags and they're very wearable as well, especially this one in this type of color and style combo. As most of us handbag fiends know, Mulberry did a rebranding a few years ago. They removed the classic little tree from the emblem and they instead started writing Mulberry down here. Honestly, I don't really think they did their rebranding very well, and I think the market agrees with me because after that rebranding exercise, the value of the secondhand Mulberry bags kind of dropped. As we know, for some other brands, when they have rebranded, for example, from Yves Saint Laurent to Saint Laurent, their brand just kept growing and growing and growing after that rebranding. Right? I think Mulberry did something wrong with their rebranding because honestly, after the rebranding of Mulberry, I think the Mulberry house kind of lost brand value. For me, who likes collecting handbags and having them for years and years, hopefully making it a good investment after a few years, I do honestly consider whether or not a bag holds its value in the long term. And since the Mulberry bags have shown that they don't really hold their value, I see that as a con. But honestly, apart from the fact that Mulberry kind of did not succeed with their rebranding, I mean, I have no other complaints for the Mulberry Bayswater Satchel. This is one of my most used handbags. I mean, I don't really cry a river about this bag not holding its value because I wouldn't sell it on, and I think it's a very wearable and practical bag to have in my collection. Now moving on to the more fun part. I mean, obviously the con, which I just mentioned, can also be a pro, because if you're in the market for a Mulberry bag and they don't hold their value on the secondhand market, then you can obviously pick up a great quality bag for a low price. I think one of the best parts of the Mulberry house is their craftsmanship. I think their leather quality is unmatched. The stitching, like I said, is amazing. The general quality of the bag is gorgeous. And I think Mulberry has a given place in the timeless and classic handbag scene. I mean, even though they rebranded, many of their bags still have this old English kind of classic aesthetic. And I think if you're going to buy a Mulberry bag, the type of classic aesthetic is the way to go if you want something that's gonna hold any value in the secondhand market. So I mean, the price versus quality ratio, I think on the pre-loved market is fabulous. Like I said, this is a very wearable bag. It was one of my most used handbags in 2021, and I don't expect that to change in 2022 either. Like I said, I've had it for almost 10 years and I've still not gotten sick of this bag, so I'm very pleased with having this bag in my collection. Rounding this review all up, I think this is a timeless classic piece that you cannot go wrong with. I mean, like I said, you can probably buy it for a pretty good price versus quality ratio on the secondhand market. Would I buy this bag today if I hadn't gotten this in 2013? I'm not sure, because this bag is not really relevant in today's fashion scene, right? And I'm not sure if this bag would be on my radar today if I hadn't gotten it back in 2013. Although with that said, if this bag reached my radar and I was in the market for something in this kind of bag archetype, then I would definitely check the secondhand market and get a good deal on this type of bag. So I mean,
yes and no. Jein is what you say in Germany, right?
I would maybe buy this bag if it was brought to my attention, but I mean, in 2022, who's talking about the Mulberry Bayswater Satchel apart from me on my YouTube channel, right? Who would I recommend this bag to, you might ask? If you're someone who appreciates craftsmanship over hypey brands, then I think Mulberry is a great brand for you to look into. I would definitely recommend this bag to the upper class mom who likes the timeless and low-key aesthetic. She has to run errands, she has to fit a lot in her bag, right, when she picks up her kids from theater practice. So that's definitely someone I would recommend this bag to. I mean, otherwise, in general, if you're someone who appreciates craftsmanship, like I said, you're not that bothered about trends or hypey items, and I think this is a great bag to go for. For me, this is kind of a grab and go bag. If I have a bunch of errands to run and I have stuff to take with me, then this is a great one to take. Also, I mean, obviously in the past year of the global pandemic, I have kind of gravitated towards bags that are not that sensitive, because I mean, obviously we're all running around with hand sanitizers. We don't really want a bag that's kind of like Chanel lambskin, which you're scared of touching when you've kind of rubbed your hands in hand sanitizer. This is a very low maintenance bag, which definitely does well in those kinds of scenarios where you don't really have time or the opportunity to baby your bag, if you get what I'm saying. So if you're someone who's not that trend sensitive, you want a practical, timeless, classic handbag, you want something that you can carry both by the top handle and by the shoulder strap, and I think the Mulberry Bayswater Satchel is perfect for you. On the other hand, if you're a hype beast, if you're wearing Supreme, if you're wearing Balenciaga, the Gucci North Face puffer, then this is probably not the bag that you're looking for, right? And you wouldn't have found this YouTube video anyway, so I don't even think I have to make that disclaimer, but just in case, this bag is not for you. It's a timeless, classic looking bag, which I obviously love the aesthetic of. I wear it a lot. I have done so for the last almost 10 years. This is a bag which for me is a forever piece. It will never leave my collection. It obviously holds a special place in my heart as well, since I got it as a gift from my parents. So all in all, great bag, would highly recommend. So there we have it, everything about the Mulberry Bayswater Satchel, which I've learned from owning it for almost 10 years. If you enjoyed this video, or if you learned something new about the Mulberry Bayswater Satchel, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. And if I forgot to mention something, what you're wondering about the Mulberry Bayswater Satchel, please ask me in the comments below and I'll get back to you that way. Until my next video, stay safe, take care, and see you soon. Bye!